Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. This is, I believe, episode 4 of To His Company ADHD. And I'm Sam.
Hey everyone, I'm Melissa. Thanks for joining us. Today we are going to be talking about self-care and why it's so important and what it means to us. And we're going to be asking each other some questions around self-care also. Yeah.
Cool. So Alyssa, I'm wondering if I can ask you a question.
Yes.
What is your sort of, excuse me, linchpin self-care practice? And what I mean by that is, like, is there a particular habit of self-care that sort of kind of holds everything else together for you? And without it, your other self-care practices easily get off kilter as well.
So it's super interesting because like the first thing that comes to mind is sleep. So like if I don't get my 8 hours every night, you could just pull that pin right out and everything will tumble. But you know what? I don't know that my other stuff tumbles. It's more my concentration and my ability to get things done in the day that tumbles. But when, like, let's say I don't get enough sleep, I will still do my self-care routines. So yeah, that's a really hard one. What do you think about that?
I think it's interesting that you are still able to put the rest of your self-care practice in place when you haven't had enough sleep. Because for me, sleep, I would identify sleep as my linchpin self-care practice, because if I don't get enough sleep, like you said, it affects my ability to like focus and concentrate and get things done. But that includes engaging in all of my other self-care practices as well. So, I'll forget to exercise enough. I'll forget to, take enough breaks in the day away from my computer. And I'm, for example, more likely to lose track of time and fall into some sort of Wikipedia hole on my phone.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the self-discipline that falls to the side.
Yeah, the self-discipline, exactly. And like the sort of perspective of keeping in mind what I want most rather than what I want now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like trying to think of like why, even when I'm tired, I could do the things. And I think that it's because, okay, full disclosure, I'm not doing those things right now, but it's not because of sleep. It's because of like my whole schedule has been kind of flipped upside down. So like I was telling Sam, I now have an office, so I'm not at home all day, and I don't have as much time to do the things that are like considered self-care, like clean my clothes up off the floor, have a shower, give myself enough time to do my hair and makeup afterwards. Like I have calls with my friends, like my coworkers, well, I used to, and I would be like straightening my hair at the same time. They would have no idea. I'd have my headphones in and I'd just be straightening my hair. But like I need to do that before I get to work now. So it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've been thinking as well while we've been talking that alone time is also kind of a linchpin self-care practice for me. And I think part of that is like, well, I'm an introvert, so I recharge when I'm by myself. But also, if I have people around, like I am gonna probably like want to engage with them. I'll just naturally try to engage with them, and will kind of like everything else will fall by the wayside. So really boring things like folding clothes and like putting them away. I'm currently looking at all of the laundry I have hanging up to dry right now that's been there for a few days. And how I haven't had a lot of alone time in the last few days. And like when I'm alone is when I am able to do like my planning of my week. And if I don't do that, which I haven't this week, then like I feel off kilter. And then I'm not, I don't have the structure that I've put in place to be self-disciplined.
Yeah. And like, so everything that you're just saying is like just making me think of all these different things. But like for me, I have to do all these things in the morning. By the afternoon, I'm too tired. I'm never going to exercise in the afternoon. I'm never going to do laundry or clean my clothes. And I say never. I mean, it's not never, but it's extremely unlikely. And like, even when you're just saying the alone time, like last week, my boyfriend was coming over and I was like, okay, I'm going to get all these things done before he comes over. He came over an hour earlier and it was just like everything that I wanted to do for myself just went like poof. And like, it's so stupid because I could have still done all the things with him there. He could have just sat and talked to me, but I just like completely went in a different direction and was like, okay, well, you're here. So like, we're going to eat now. It's like, we didn't have to do that, but I did. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times I've sat on his bed while he's putting away his clothes. But like, for some reason, for me, it's like, okay, you're here. Let's do what it is. Like, I don't know, eat dinner. I don't know. Sounds silly.
It doesn't sound silly. Also, I think for me, having a person around like who's sort of like an immediate source of stimulation is hugely tempting when you've got some like boring stuff to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm sure that there are probably people who like folding their clothes and putting them away, but I'm not sure I know any of them. So yeah, I think that kind of stimulation is a very like welcome distraction for people with ADHD when it comes to like avoiding doing boring sort of like adulting tasks that we need to do in order to sort of like feel like our life is organized to sort of function on a day-to-day basis, but we hate doing them.
Yeah, exactly. Like in like my room, when it's a mess, I'm a mess. Like I cannot think. I look around and I'm like, where are my slippers? I have lost my slippers like 15 times in the past 2 weeks and it drives me insane because I can't find them. Like they're just under my bed, they're under the clothes. Normally they're just like sitting right there and I just put them on and I see them and I go. But when my room's a mess, when I haven't practiced self-care, it's just like, finding everything is just so much harder.
Yes, I totally agree. And I guess like that just reminds me that like one thing that it took me a really, really long time to realize is that while I may view like tidying my room as boring, that it is something that if I completely avoid doing it, like I am not going to be able to be the person I want to be and live the life that I want to live, because it just, yeah, like the untidy room, I don't really know exactly how it works, but it just makes me feel like I fall apart,
Yeah.
And, I'm just not able to like keep my literal or metaphorical house in order at that point. And so I try to remember to do those hard, boring things by reminding myself like, okay, who's the person I want to be? Is this going to make it easier for me to be that person? Okay, then let's just do it. Let's just like take out the time timer and like do 10 minutes. And that's,
Yeah, and like what's 10 minutes?
What?
And what's 10 minutes?
Right.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, what's 10 minutes? Like just throw on a show or something too. If, if you're really that bored,
A
put on
podcast.
a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. Um, what's your best self-care tip?
Um, Reminders, which probably sounds really basic, but I think for a lot of people, doing things like remember to shower, like, and remember to do all of these things that help you be the person that you want to be. Like it, I think that we have this idea that these are just things that are easy that we should automatically be able to do, and like we see neurotypical people and they make it look so easy. Like do those things. Well, first of all, I don't know how they do it, but maybe they also have reminders to do it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think there's this almost this like sense of shame that I associate with like needing a reminder to wash my hair, needing a reminder to, you know, steam my clothes or like just do my laundry. But knowing that those things are so important and that my brain just like automatically sort of forgets to do things, like forgets that those tasks are necessary. I will think about pretty much anything else. And so there's no shame in setting up a reminder. And in fact, like, I have reminders throughout the day to take my medication. It's just that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. And like what you said, for me, showering is very hard. It sounds so stupid, but like I, first of all, will take 30-minute showers if I let myself. If I don't set myself a timer, I'll be in there for at least half hour. Then my hair is wet. It takes me like a long time to dry it, to straighten it. It's a whole process, and it's boring, so it takes me even longer because I'll be on my phone or distracted throughout the whole time. So like it's not easy. It probably takes me like an hour and a half. Not joking you, to shower. So like there's no way I'm doing that in the morning before I start my day. I would be way later, so I have to like set myself up for success, shower before. By before, I mean like the night before. Before your day starts.
Mm.
Yeah. Like that kind of just reminds me like be kind to yourself and don't shit on yourself and be realistic. It's not realistic for me, at least, to say you're going to shower in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like that's another like piece of this puzzle for me is to make things as easy as possible for myself, and do the hard sort of self-care slash adulting things when I know I'm gonna have like and generally enough energy to do it. Don't like wait until like don't put it off until the evening. um like I can fold clothes in the evening if I'm like listening to a podcast or something. I have kind of okay energy levels for that, but yeah, anything like paying bills, which I think is an important part of self-care. I'm not going to do that in the evening, or if I try to do it in the evening, I'll like pay the wrong amount on the wrong day, or something like that. So making sure that you are realistic about assessing your sort of energy levels throughout the day and like what kind of tasks are appropriate for you to do at that point, or not just appropriate, but like what feels easiest.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, like all the tasks that I don't get done now, I'm like expecting myself to do at the end of the workday, and it's just not happening. I'm like kind of suffering a little bit because of it, because it's just chaos, and I'm not getting the little things done that I would normally get done. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I love how um, we sort of, we're very sort of spontaneous about like the topics that we pick for the topic that we pick for a week. And often it seems to just correlate with what is on our minds, like what we are finding particularly challenging on any given week. Yeah, and I think that we're both kind of feeling a bit off kilter with our self-care. So it's been good to talk this through.
Yeah, I love how we do that. And we, like right now I'm like coming up with plans for myself. Like, okay, this is a really good idea to do this. You need this. This is really important to you right now. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for listening to us again. And please remember that, you're not alone. There's a whole community of ADHD folks out there who struggle with a lot of the same things that you do, including showering, including shopping, including paying your bills.
Oh gosh, we didn't even talk about feeding ourselves or anything like that. But yeah, that's not easy.
I feel like that's a whole other episode, Alyssa. At least it is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get there. Don't worry.
I'm noting this.
So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. And remember that we have Q&A Instagram lives on Wednesday afternoons Eastern time. And so you're welcome to come jump onto those lives and ask us questions in the moment, or you can email us or contact us on our Instagram page, which is 2iscompany ADHD. And also we have, well, if you're listening to this, maybe you already know it, but we upload a recording on our YouTube channel every Friday, which is also 2iscompany ADHD.
Subscribe, and then you'll get notified, and you won't have to remember it's every Friday. It'll just be in your YouTube, whatever you want to call it.
You'll be in your like YouTube routine.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.